Salvador says if you can manage any positive reoccurring growth during the winter months, you're doing pretty good. So, that's even encouraging to me. Me and my cousin, funny enough, were just talking about this. He was like, man, I'm like net -2 on the month. And me, I was like, I haven't even added my shit up yet. I was like, I know I'm net positive, just barely. We had one person pause. I'm trying to think if we had someone cancel or not. I don't think we've had any cancels in November, but we had somebody pause because inflation. She even mentioned it outright. She was like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, man, these damn grocery prices and everything else. Everything's going up but my wage at the end of the day. And I was like, I feel you. But I think overall we're net positive, like 3 on the month. Nothing crazy. It's actually been a slower month. But November is very... Ugh. Started out with a bang, and then this last like week or two, we've just been getting a bunch of bullshit. How do you go about getting a 1099 guy? I'm thinking of one for exclusion and one for termite. I don't feel like crawling under houses. So for the termite side, yes. Exclusion, that's another one where it's gonna vary state to state for exclusion services. But for the termite side, either they need to be licensed through you, or they need to be their own pest and termite company and have a termite license. Oops. I'm not trying to pin anything. There we go. Yeah, so termite I still do. It's just exclusion. But, for me, it's all been a blessing. I met my first 1099 guy through a buddy of mine who owns a pest control company nearby as well. And then, of course, like I said, my brother just moved down here who has background experience as well. So, it just worked out for me more than anything. Otherwise, I just, one, do the services myself, or B, just not accept them for now. Or just, do like the standard baiting, trapping, catch release, that type of stuff. Do you put rodent bait boxes at every house you service? No. Or only if you sell them? Yes. And do you use just one or do you use two? It varies. Usually I use two at the minimum. If we sell something like a townhome, right? Something where, one, I'll even tell them, I'll be like, look, I can set this out if you want, but the reality is you all share an attic space, so, it would help, limit the population, but I can't really make hardly anything in terms of promises, just because of the shared attic space. That's a rare example, but usually minimum 2. Standard home that's 2,000 square foot or less, I'll put between 2 to 4 out, depending on, the linear footage more than anything. Is it on a lot of acreage, or is it on a 0 lot line, or like I said, there's a lot of variables of course that go into it. An average home has between 2 to 4 though, and it is a service that is upsold. The most that I have out on at a home right now is let me count, I'm doing the math in my head. Hold on, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11, I believe. And this is a big home. This is I don't even know if it's the biggest home that I service, but in terms of the rodent side, it's by far the biggest home that I service. They pay $200 a month just for general pest quarterly, rodent control, and rodent controls and, the baiting and mosquito service. That's it. And they pay $2,400 a year. A bit tougher economy-wise, yes, sir. Depends on the area and demographic. Good time to clean up expenses and watch for ROI more. Exactly. Winter is always huge rodent season for us, focusing on cross-selling. Yes, sir. Yep, we are on the same page, Salvador. That was actually what I was just referring to about lessons learned this year. How does the 1099 worker go? Just pay him and he does taxes. That doesn't matter. So, yes, to a certain degree. So, we use QuickBooks, and we will set them up a 1099 contractor in our QuickBooks. They get an email, they fill out their information for that, and yeah, you just put in there, once you have your bank accounts linked to QuickBooks, it makes it super easy because like we paid through Zelle and that will pop up in our transactions and then you just link it, to the contractor. And then at the end of the year, it shoots out is it actually 1090? Was it a trying to think 1099 NEC form maybe, don't quote me on that, but whatever form they're supposed to have for their taxes, it sends that out to them. You obviously have your record of, hey, this is how much I paid them, and that is like just a straight, it just comes right off of your bottom line essentially. How's it going? All in lawn maintenance. Best way to learn the license part and testing. Any good study guides or schools? So it depends where you live. For those that live in Texas, the Texas A&M AgriLife is the best place to go. Texas A&M AgriLife. So they're going to be your best bet to go to. They have, of course, educational materials, programs, all that type of stuff. They're the ones that actually make the materials for the testing here in Texas. Now, again, that's for here in Texas. For any other state, it's hard to say. Best bet would be, I always say, when in doubt, start with your Department of Agriculture for your state. So if you're in Missouri, Missouri Department of Agriculture. If you're in Louisiana Department of Agriculture. And they may even call it something slightly different. But if you just type in whatever state you're in, Department of Agriculture, you'll be on the right path. If you don't find a lot, call them up, say, hey, I'm looking to, get my license in X category. What do I need to do? Where can I get study material? Things like that. And they'll start pointing you in the right direction as well. Trying to get up to 1.5, 1.7 average services per customer. Getting as much out of each customer will be important for 24. Termite renewals, AG work, rodent baiting, exactly. Yeah, and I was really good at that my first year in business. I've been really, how do I say it? I've been really, I'm trying to not talk too bad, talk too down to myself, but I've been really freaking lazy in terms of my selling lately. I've been more so and I'm not saying that you're saying you're lazy or your sales team's lazy either, Salvador, but I've been complacent, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. In terms of, that first year or so I hopped out here, I was selling everything to my customers. We call it the Preferred Protection Plan, where you're signed up for pest, termite, rodent, mosquito, tick, everything we have to offer. We started that as low as $99 to $129 a month. And I was selling them damn things. Now, obviously, there's an initial fee for setting everything up, of course. But I was selling those things like cupcakes. To this day, even, those are my bill payers. They pay the mortgage, pay all of my expenses at the end of the day. And I've gotten very complacent, I would say, in all honesty, the last 12 to 18 months. I even catch myself after I get off the phone. I'm like, dude, you've got to stop. You got to get out of this robotic, boom, boom, sell, next. Boom, boom, sell, next. It almost becomes kind of just like a trained monkey in your head, essentially, where, what's the issue? This is what we can do. This is the price. Boom. Sells or doesn't sell. Whenever you're getting 2 to 10 calls a day, right? It can get very redundant, and when you're not as hungry as you were day one, you can get very complacent. That's another thing I'm probably going to talk a lot about more on this channel going forward, is fighting complacency. Because while you should look back on, your accomplishments as a business owner and all that stuff, you don't want to get complacent. A lot of people around you will tell you you're great, tell you this, tell you that. And in reality, you got to kind of keep a chip on your shoulder that you're not shit still. It is what it is. You're battling yourself at the end of the day. Oops, where did we go? There we go. I have 80-something monthly mosquitoes. Good job. I could use help getting those April through October. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I could tell this month because 99% of my mosquitoes dropped off this month. I had a couple that I still did this month, but I could tell just the workload this month just poof, tanked in terms of like I'm still getting paid on a lot of it because I always have our billing set up monthly and yearly, but I know what you mean in terms of that workload. We are increasing grassroots methods, more including developing mailers, and that definitely keep us updated on how that goes, Salvador, because there's been a lot of people, including me, interested in how the mailers, in terms of conversion rates and CPAs and all that good stuff. I put my QR code for website and review page on the back of my business card. Yes, you must have seen my video about the profitable business card. After you complete a service, do you leave any material behind, like a door hanger or a little sign in the lawn? Yeah, so I actually just ran out recently. That's actually one thing I showed you guys very briefly as I was scrolling through here. Hopefully I didn't already pass it. Oh, there we go. So we just have a, little yard flag sign thing. It's like a 4x4 sign, nothing crazy. One thing I am going to do whenever I get my next batches is I'm actually going to change my phone number to a tracking phone number specifically for that, just to see, for tracking purposes, like, is there any legit ROI on these, or, is it just kind of, brand awareness more than anything? Let's see. How do you notify a customer that you're coming for a quarterly service? If you reach out and they didn't confirm the service, do you still? Yeah, for the most part, we learn very quickly when some customers are very tedious, which unfortunately, does happen occasionally. We try to filter that the best we can. Most of them are customers that were like day one customers that I was just happy to have. But usually, yes, we'll send that out because we set the expectations now at the beginning of their term as a customer that, hey, we're gonna send a text usually the night before, and assuming there's no issues or anything like that. Sorry about that. That was one of them nasty burps. Assuming you're not having any issues or anything, we'll get everything taken care of. So it doesn't really matter if they respond or not. Now, if they don't respond and we get out there and say a gate's locked, we will service what we can, and we send a text before leaving, hey, just want to let you know, got the service taken care of. However, I did notice, there's a dog in the backyard. The gate was locked. Whatever the case may be, if you would just, let us know if you start to have an issue on the backside of the house. Let us know so we can come get that backyard taken care of. 99% of the time, people aren't going to care. And if they do, it's on them. Like, hey, we reached out to you. You didn't. And like I said, most people, they're understanding. They're like, shit, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I'll let you know if anything pops up. If someone's an asshole about it, then, whatever. What's the usual range of costs per call in Google Ads and Facebook ads? Oh, man, that's a very loaded question. So just to answer John's question really quick, because like I said, that's a loaded question we'll get into here in just a second. So your big plan covers everything. Yes. Yeah, like pretty much everything. The only thing it doesn't cover, of course, is like possums, raccoons, squirrels, right? When I say rodents, it's like rats and mice. Pretty much it covers rats and mice, termites, general pests, mosquitoes, ticks, and then if they were to get them, fleas and fire ants. Fire ants, I try to be, because we usually price it while we're there, I assess the situation, so I don't always include the fire ants in there. It just depends on the property. Do they already have fire ants? Obviously, they have fire ants, and I'll, throw that in and adjust the price as needed. And we're very thorough with, kind of almost creating a plan for them so that everything plan that starts out is everything. And then if they don't need the fire ant, we'll cut that out, et cetera, right? Save them $20 a month or whatever the case may be. In Maryland, man, we got people all over the country tuning in tonight. Let's see. So for the average cost for Google ads and Facebook ads. So this goalpost is always moving forward, back, side, forward, back. Like, I've had Facebook or Google specifically, because I have way more experience with Google ads than Facebook ads. Been getting into Facebook ads a lot more recently, but with Google ads specifically, we run Google ads primarily in the spring, usually late February, March through, give or take May through late June, somewhere around there. And sometimes it's even off and on. So it's going to be the most expensive time of the year because that's when everybody is paying for Google ads. However, generally speaking, the cost per conversion, which would be a phone call, a website form filled out, things of that nature. Conversion is not an acquisition. That's one thing a lot of people get confused. A conversion means an action. An action has happened on the customer's part. They reached out to you. That's all conversion is. Then you have your actual, a lead, right? Then you have your actual acquisition, which is how much does it cost to close the deal, right? To actually get a customer. So in terms of a call, that would be a conversion. The costs for conversions on Google Ads, they're not horrible. We're probably talking, I want to say on the very low end, about $15 to $20. On the highest of highest, around $100. At $100, of course, you're getting up there. You're up there past the Google local service ads cost. But it all what all matters the most, like that. I don't remember if it was the podcast or on here that I mentioned it. We did like an episode or live, about what matters most, cost per lead or cost per acquisition. The cost per acquisition is what matters the most. The cost per call, the cost per conversion, while it is important to keep track of that because, of course, increased cost per conversion more times than not leads to increased cost per acquisition, you're still ultimately wanting to pay attention to that cost per acquisition the most because say I'm paying $5. Say an advertising agency comes up to you and says, hey, I can get you $5 per conversion. Doesn't that sound great? Oh yeah, sign me up. Okay, well let's say you get 100 conversions, you spent $500 and you got 2 customers, right? Just hypothetically. So your cost per acquisition is what? $250 on that $500. You got 2 customers. You got a lot of conversions, but you only got 2 acquisitions. One, you're spending more money because that's a whole lot of conversations you're going through. And then you're also paying, $250 per acquisition, right? Where if someone tells you, hey, I can get you, a customer for $200, you're probably like, what the hell? Why would I want to do that? Like this dude over here said he can get me conversions for $5. Because it's manipulation, guys. It's sales. That's all that it is. You're wanting to focus on how much is it costing me per customer. Who comes out net positive on our example we just went over? The guy who offered you $200 per customer. You end up saving $50. Do the math all the way out. You end up getting way more customers out of the money that you would have spent with that other company, plus time saved, which equals more money saved at the end of the day. But to get back to the question, so when it comes to, like I said, for our Google specifically, there's so much that goes into that, but the minimum that I've paid is usually around $20 per, quote unquote call or conversion. And then for Facebook, we've had some recently as low as like $5, or actually about $5.88 to be exact. Don't want to undercut or overcut it. $5.88, but the lead quality has been a lot worse on Facebook. That I will say. Google ads, far more superior leads, at least so far from my experience. Facebook ads, a lot more quantity, a lot more message conversions. But I mean, I can show you guys right here, as a matter of fact. I'm not going to pull it up on my laptop because I don't want to like expose anyone's information or anything. But just today, 1, 2, 3, 4 different, and one is actually unread, as a matter of fact, right now. But for today, 1, 2, 3, 4. For today, you get a lot of spam on there as well. These whole like, oh, your page is going to be disabled, this and that. But just in November alone, just to give you guys an idea, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 different messages so far. And we've spent, let me see. And that's just messages. That's not phone calls or forms submitted. Let's see. We have a 155 balance plus 175, 213. So that's what? 388. We'll just call it 389. 390, 410, 510. About $565. Let's pull up the calculator here. Come on. Come on. Oh, let me guess. You're going to pull up like 10 calculators now. I knew it. Let's see. So 565. We'll just call it 20. We're not even going to include phone calls and stuff. So about $28 per conversion, which, like I said, it's probably closer to 25, maybe 24, 25. $23 per conversion. In terms of acquisition costs, it's been very high, but like I said, we're still kind of dialing everything in at the moment. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it just goes to show, like we've been talking about, I don't even know like which I was on. The cost per acquisition is what you need to be most concerned with at the end of the day. If you're not already subscribed, of course, do me a favor, smash the, not thumbs up, smash that too, of course, but subscribe below and hit the bell icon beside it. That way you won't miss any future uploads or live streams, anything like that. And if you're not following on TikTok already, do me a favor and go follow on TikTok. We're trying to get up to 1,000 followers over there on TikTok. It's been a slow grind. We've been right around 700 forever, but once we get to 1,000 followers over on TikTok, we'll be able to go live over there as well for those of you that prefer TikTok as well. So I appreciate you all tuning in as always. If you have any questions or anything after the stream goes from a stream to a video, just let me know down in the comments below. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in as well, Puma Bros. And like I said, I will see you guys in the next one. If I don't hear from you all before the holiday, have a happy Thanksgiving. Remember why we have the day off, the weekend off. Enjoy your loved ones, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one.